The knock came late in the evening, just as the sky turned violet and the house settled into silence. I was curled up on the couch with a book when I heard it. 3 sharp raps that made me jump. We rarely had visitors, especially at this hour. I hesitated before opening the door. My parents, Monica and Gregory, were upstairs, and I didn't want to bother them for something trivial. But when I pulled the door open, the air left my lungs. A woman stood on the porch. She looked to be in her 40s, with tired eyes that carried both sorrow and intensity. Her hands trembled slightly as she clutched the strap of her handbag. "Aria," she said softly, her voice cracking. "You've grown so much." I frowned. "Do I know you?" She exhaled shakily, her lips parting as if the words themselves weighed too much. "My name is Celine, and I'm your real mother." For a moment, the world stopped. The chirping of the crickets outside, the faint hum of the fridge inside. All of it faded into a suffocating silence. I laughed nervously, though my stomach twisted. "You must be mistaken. My mom is Monica. She's upstairs." Celine's eyes shimmered with tears. "Monica raised you, yes, but she isn't the one who gave birth to you. I shook my head. This had to be some kind of sick joke. That's impossible." Before I could say more, Monica's voice rang from the stairs. "Aria? Who's at the door?" I froze. My chest tightened as I glanced back at Celine, who looked pale, desperate. She stepped closer, lowering her voice. "Please don't tell her I was here. Just listen to me. They've lied to you your whole life." My pulse thundered as Monica's footsteps drew nearer. Panic surged through me. I turned back toward Celine, but her eyes, haunted, pleading, said everything. In the next heartbeat, Monica appeared beside me, her expression warm but questioning. "Who's this?" Celine stiffened, her lips pressing into a thin line. She gave me one last look before stepping back into the shadows of the porch. "I'm no one," Celine murmured, her voice trembling, and just like that, she walked away into the night. I stood frozen in the doorway, my entire world tilting beneath me. Monica's eyes followed Celine's retreating figure, her smile fading. "Strange," she murmured, stepping onto the porch. What did she want? I swallowed hard, my heart still racing. I wanted to tell her everything, to ask why this woman had shown up at our door making such an insane claim. But Celine's desperate warning echoed in my ears. "Don't tell her I was here." She was lost," I said quickly, forcing my voice steady. "Asked for directions, that's all." Monica's eyes lingered on me, sharp and searching, before she finally gave a small nod. "Well, people shouldn't be knocking on doors at this hour." "Come inside." She shut the door firmly, as though sealing the night out with it. I followed her back into the living room, my mind a whirlwind. When Gregory joined us a few minutes later, carrying his ever-present mug of coffee, Monica filled him in. Some woman came by, looking for directions. Odd, but harmless. Gregory's brow furrowed. At this time? Did she say anything else? My throat went dry. No, nothing. But the way he studied me made my skin prickle. He always had this quiet, watchful presence, like he was 2 steps ahead of every conversation. Now it felt like he could see straight through me. That night, I lay in bed staring at the ceiling, Celine's words looping in my head. "They've lied to you your whole life." The next morning at school, I couldn't keep it in any longer. I told Ethan everything as we sat on the bleachers during break. "She just showed up?" he asked wide-eyed. "And claimed to be your real mom?" I nodded, twisting my hands together. "It sounds insane, right?" But she looked at me like she knew me. Ethan leaned closer. "Do you believe her?" "I don't know," I admitted. But Monica and Gregory didn't act surprised that someone came to the door. They acted cautiously, like they already knew who she was. Ethan's jaw tightened. "If she shows up again, you need answers. Real ones. Because either she's lying or your parents are. And if your parents are..." He let the thought trail off, but his silence said enough. For the first time in my life, Doubt crept in where trust used to be, and it scared me more than anything Celine had said. The following days were unbearable. Every time Monica smiled at me, every time Gregory asked about school, a knot tightened in my chest. Were they really who they said they were? Or had they built my entire life on a lie? Ethan kept pushing me to find out more, but I didn't know where to start. I couldn't just march up to my parents and accuse them of stealing me. And Selena. What if she never came back? But she did. It was late again, almost midnight, when my phone buzzed on the nightstand. A text from an unknown number. "I need to talk to you, please. It's Celine." My hands shook as I typed back. "How did you get my number? That doesn't matter. I can't stay away. Meet me tomorrow at the park by the old fountain. Noon." I stared at the screen, my heart pounding. Every instinct screamed this was reckless, dangerous even, but I had to know the truth. The next day, I skipped lunch and slipped out to the park. Celine was already there, sitting on a bench, her hair pulled back, sunglasses hiding her eyes. She stood when she saw me, relief washing over her face. "Aria," she whispered, "thank you for coming." I crossed my arms, keeping a careful distance. "You can't just show up at my house saying things like that." "Do you realize how crazy it sounds?" Her expression twisted with pain. "I know, and I'm sorry, but I didn't know how else to reach you. They've kept me away for so long." "They?" I asked, my voice sharp. "You mean Monica and Gregory?" "My parents?" She shook her head, tears threatening to spill. "They're not your parents, Aria. They took you from me when you were a baby. I tried to fight, but they made sure no one would believe me." My stomach lurched. "You expect me to believe that? That the people who raised me, who loved me, just stole me?" Celine reached into her bag and pulled out a worn photograph. It showed her younger, holding a newborn, wrapped in a pink blanket. Her eyes were unmistakable, haunted, but the same shape as mine. "I've carried this for 16 years, she whispered. "That's you." "You're mine," I stared at the photo, my breath shallow, my world tilting dangerously. Because deep down, something inside me recognized her. I couldn't stop staring at the photograph, even after I left Celine. My fingers brushed over the faded edges, the crease down the middle, the newborn's face swaddled in pink. It looked like me. Not just vaguely similar, me. When I got home that evening, Monica was in the kitchen chopping vegetables while Gregory scrolled through the news on his tablet. They looked so normal, so safe, but the photo in my pocket burned like fire. I swallowed hard. "Mom?" Monica glanced up with her usual warm smile. "Yes, sweetheart." My voice trembled as I pulled the photo out and set it on the counter. "Who is this?" The knife froze mid-slice. Monica's smile faltered. She stared at the photo too long before forcing a laugh. "Where did you find that? Some old picture someone gave you?" "It's me, isn't it?" I pressed. "But that's not you holding me." Gregory's eyes flicked up from his tablet, sharp and alert. "Aria, where did you get this?" The way he said it, controlled, almost threatening, made my stomach twist. "I just found it," I lied quickly, "in my backpack." I don't know how it got there. Monica reached for the photo, but I snatched it back before her fingers touched it. For a split second, I saw something flicker in her eyes. Not confusion, not amusement, but fear. "You're overthinking," she said briskly, turning back to the cutting board. "People pass around baby pictures all the time. Maybe a friend at school thought it looked like you." Her explanation was flimsy, and she knew it. Gregory set down his tablet, his jaw tight. "Aria, don't let strangers put ideas in your head. We've given you everything. Don't throw that away chasing fantasies." The words stung, but what chilled me more was his certainty. Like he knew exactly what I was thinking. That night, as I lay awake, I texted Ethan. "They know something. They're hiding it." His reply came fast. "Then we find proof. Meet me tomorrow after class. We'll start digging." I stared at the photo one last time before tucking it under my pillow. For the first time in my life, I wasn't sure if the people sleeping down the hall were really my parents, and that uncertainty was the scariest feeling of all. The next day after school, Ethan and I headed straight to the public library. It was quiet, almost too quiet, the kind of place where secrets might be hiding in plain sight. We sat down at one of the dusty computer terminals, the glow of the screen reflecting the determination in Ethan's eyes. "Okay," he said, cracking his knuckles. "If Celine's telling the truth, there should be some kind of record. Hospital files, birth certificates, something." I chewed my lip nervously. But what if Monica and Gregory changed everything? What if there's nothing left to find? Ethan shot me a look. Then at least we'll know we tried. We started with the basics. My birth year, my supposed hospital, my last name. Nothing unusual came up. But when Ethan tried searching under Celine's last name, things shifted. A record popped up from the same year I was born. Female child. Mother, Celine Marlowe. Father, unknown. But next to it was a strange note in red. Custody transferred. File sealed. My breath hitched. "That's me," I whispered. Ethan clicked, but most of the document was locked behind restricted access. Still, the fragments we could see were damning enough. Celine wasn't lying. There was a record, and someone had gone to great lengths to bury it. I sat back, my hands trembling. They really did it. Monica and Gregory, they took me. Ethan's jaw tightened. "We need more proof. This alone won't convince anyone." As if on cue, a shadow fell over us. I glanced up and nearly jumped out of my chair. A tall man in a gray suit stood at the end of the aisle, his eyes sharp and assessing. "You kids shouldn't be digging into sealed records," he said evenly. "It's dangerous." Ethan tensed. "Who are you?" The man's lips curved into the faintest smile. "Detective Cole. Let's just say I've been aware of this case for a long time. And Aria, if you're not careful, you'll end up just like your mother." Chills shot through me. "You mean Celine?" His expression darkened. "No, I meant Monica." Before I could ask what he meant, he slipped away between the shelves, leaving behind a storm of questions that rattled me to the core. That night, sleep was impossible. Detective Cole's words echoed in my head like a warning I couldn't escape. "If you're not careful, you'll end up just like Monica." What did that even mean? By morning, my decision was made. I had to confront Celine again. If she really was my mother, she had answers. And if she wasn't, then she'd slip up and prove herself a liar. I texted her, and she agreed to meet me at a quiet diner on the edge of town. Ethan insisted on coming too, and I didn't argue. The last thing I wanted was to be alone with someone who might be playing mind games. Celine was already there when we arrived. A half-empty coffee cup in front of her, hands wrapped tightly around the mug like she was trying to hold herself together. "Aria," she breathed, relief softening her face. "Thank you for coming." I slid into the booth across from her, Ethan at my side. I didn't waste time. "We found the record." "Your name." "The note about custody being transferred. It's real, but I need to know what happened. Why did Monica and Gregory end up raising me?" Her eyes shimmered with unshed tears. "Because they took you from me. I was young, single, and fighting a custody battle I had no chance of winning. They were powerful, connected, and they wanted a child. When you were just a baby, I was told you died during the night. But later, I learned the truth. Monica and Gregory had bribed people, sealed the files, and made you theirs." Ethan leaned forward, skeptical. "And you expect us to believe they just stole a baby? That kind of thing doesn't happen without consequences." Celine's jaw tightened. "There were consequences, for me. I spent years being called unstable, delusional, even dangerous. Every time I tried to fight back, doors slammed in my face. They ruined my reputation, erased my credibility. And all the while, they raised you as if you were theirs." I wanted to dismiss it as madness, but something in her voice, the raw desperation, felt too real. Still, one question burned in my chest. "If you've been watching all this time," I whispered, Why now? Why come to me now? Celine's gaze darkened. Because I'm not the only one who knows the truth anymore. And the people who helped them don't want you finding out. When I got home that evening, the house felt heavier than usual, like the walls themselves were listening. Monica was sitting at the dining table, papers spread out in front of her, but she quickly shuffled them into a neat pile when she saw me. Gregory lingered in the doorway, his expression unreadable. "Where have you been?" Monica asked casually, but her tone was laced with tension. "Library," I answered, forcing a steady voice. "Studying." Gregory's eyes narrowed. "For 3 hours," I shrugged, trying not to let my pulse betray me. "School's tough." The silence stretched too long. Monica gave me a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "We just worry about you, honey. You know we only want what's best." But the way she said it didn't sound loving, it sounded like a warning. Later that night, I tiptoed past their bedroom door. Voices carried through, hushed but urgent. "She knows something," Monica whispered. Gregory's reply was sharp. "We'll handle it. But if she keeps digging..." The rest was muffled, but my chest clenched. They were talking about me. I hurried to my room and locked the door, my hands trembling. My parents, the people who had tucked me in at night, bandaged my scrapes, knees cheered me on at school plays, were hiding something so dark it twisted my stomach. The photo, Celine's words, Detective Cole's warning, it all stacked up like a puzzle coming together. And every piece pointed to the same chilling truth. Monica and Gregory weren't who they pretended to be. The next morning, Gregory drove me to school. His hands gripped the steering wheel so tightly his knuckles were white. "Aria," he said suddenly, his voice low. "Families stick together. Always. Don't let outsiders fill your head with lies." I glanced at him, searching his face for reassurance, but found only control. "What if the outsiders are telling the truth?" I whispered, before I could stop myself. Gregory's jaw tightened, but he said nothing else the rest of the drive. When I told Ethan later, he frowned. "They're scared. That means we're close. Too close for them to cover it up forever. But if Ethan was right, then the danger wasn't just for me. It was for anyone who tried to help me uncover the truth." And that realization left me colder than anything Celine had said. It was a gray, rainy afternoon when I saw him again. Detective Cole stood outside the school gates, umbrella in hand, looking like he'd been waiting for me. Ethan spotted him first and muttered, "Great." Tall, dark, and creepy as Bat Cole's gaze locked on me, and with a subtle nod, he motioned for us to follow. Against every rational instinct, I did. We ended up in the shadow of an old oak tree near the parking lot, the rain pattering against the umbrella like a ticking clock. "You've been busy," Cole said quietly. "Too busy. Do you have any idea how much danger you're in?" I crossed my arms, trying to sound braver than I felt. "If you know so much, then why don't you just tell me the truth?" Cole studied me for a long moment. His expression was calm, but his eyes carried something darker, regret, maybe even guilt. "The truth is messy. Your so-called parents aren't the saints they pretend to be, but exposing them won't just shatter your world. It'll put you in the crosshairs of people who don't forgive mistakes." Ethan bristled. "That sounds like a threat." Cole ignored him, his focus never leaving me. "Aria, if you push too hard, they'll push back harder. They've done it before, and if history repeats, you won't come out unscathed." My throat tightened. So what am I supposed to do? Pretend none of this is happening? Pretend Monica and Gregory didn't steal me from Celine? Cole's jaw tightened at Celine's name. "She told you her side, I assume." I nodded. "Then you should know she's not entirely innocent either. People rarely are in cases like this." His voice dropped lower, almost a whisper. "The night you were taken wasn't as simple as she makes it sound." I leaned in, desperate. "Then tell me what happened." But Cole only sighed, his expression clouded. "Some truths are poison, Aria. And once you drink them, there's no going back." Before I could press him, he slipped away into the rain, leaving me with more questions than answers. Ethan touched my shoulder gently. "Do you trust him?" I shook my head. I don't trust anyone anymore. But deep inside, I knew one thing. Whatever Cole was hiding, it was tied to Monica and Gregory's darkest secret. And sooner or later, I was going to uncover it. I didn't plan to follow them, at least not at first. But when I saw Monica and Gregory leaving the house late at night, both dressed too formally for a casual errand, my instincts screamed something wasn't right. I slipped on my hoodie, grabbed my phone, and trailed behind their car on foot until Ethan picked me up in his beat-up sedan. "You're insane," he muttered as he drove slowly at a distance. "But fine, let's see where this goes." They led us across town to a building I'd never noticed before. An old office tucked between warehouses, its windows dark, except for a faint glow on the second floor. Gregory parked in the back, and he and Monica disappeared inside. My pulse quickened. "What are they doing here?" Ethan cut the engine. Only one way to find out. We crept closer, sticking to the shadows. From behind a cracked window pane, we peered inside. What I saw made my blood run cold. Monica and Gregory sat across from two men in suits. One of them I recognized instantly, Detective Cole. My breath caught. "He's working with them." Cole's voice carried faintly through the glass. "She's asking too many questions. If this keeps up, everything we buried will come crawling back." Monica's face hardened. "We can't let her find out." "Not now," Gregory leaned forward. "Then what do you suggest?" "She's already seen Celine. She knows more than she should." Cole's reply was too low to catch, but whatever he said made Monica's hands clench into fists. Ethan and I exchanged horrified glances. Every word confirmed it. My parents weren't just hiding something, they were actively conspiring to keep me in the dark. And Cole, the man who claimed he wanted to protect me, was part of it. Suddenly, Gregory turned his head toward the window and panic surged through me. We ducked down just in time, hearts pounding. Ethan grabbed my arm. "We need to get out of here, now." We scrambled back to the car, breathless. But as Ethan fumbled with the keys, a chilling realization hit me. If Monica, Gregory, and Cole were all working together, then this wasn't just a family secret. It was something far bigger, something dangerous, and I was right in the middle of it. I barely slept that night. Images of Monica, Gregory, and Detective Cole sitting together replayed in my mind like a nightmare on loop. The betrayal was suffocating, but more than that, I needed answers, real ones. And the only person left who might give them to me was Celine. I met her at dawn by the lake, the mist curling around the water like smoke. She looked tired, older somehow, as if carrying a weight too heavy to bear. "You've seen it, haven't you?" Celine asked quietly. "You know now they're not who they claim to be." My throat was dry, but the words tumbled out. "I saw them, with Detective Cole. They're working together. And I know there's more. No more half-truths, Celine. Tell me what really happened the night I was taken." Her hands trembled as she pulled her coat tighter around herself. "It wasn't supposed to be like this. When you were born, I was struggling, alone, vulnerable. Monica and Gregory approached me, offering help. They seemed kind, generous, and I was desperate enough to trust them." Her voice cracked. "But one night, when you were just a few weeks old, they came to my apartment. They said they'd take care of you for a while, just until I got on my feet. I agreed, thinking it was temporary, but when I came back for you, they were gone. The papers had been filed, the records sealed. They had me declared unfit, and the court believed them." Tears burned my eyes. "So, they didn't just steal me. You gave me to them, at least at first." Celine flinched, guilt flooding her face. "Yes, and it's haunted me every day since. I thought I was protecting you, but I handed you over to people who twisted everything. I tried to fight Aria, I swear I did, but they destroyed me. Every door closed in my face. And Cole, he was the one who made sure no one listened." The pieces clicked together, sharp and painful. Monica and Gregory hadn't just taken me, they'd planned it, manipulated the system, and erased Celine from my life with Cole's help. I wrapped my arms around myself, the wind biting against my skin. So what happens now? Selena's eyes filled with both fear and determination. Now you have to decide who you believe, and whether you're ready for the world to know the truth.